It's Tuesday, October 26th. This is Jaguars Happy Hour. And now, a guy who refuses to swim but's always ready for a deep dive, J.P. Shadrick.
Only in the shallow end, and welcome in. It's Jaguars Happy Hour. My name's J.P. Shadrick. We have a busy show, as always, on Tuesday in store today. Jaguars analyst Jeff Lageman has done a deep dive himself. We'll get to his thoughts on what the Jaguars have done during the bye week and what they're looking forward to going into Seattle. A bye week recap, looking ahead to the Seahawks, who got, well, I don't think they got smoked last night, but they lost at home. They haven't won at home all year. Urban Meyer Show at 5 o'clock. That's with head coach Urban Meyer on the Jaguars Radio Network. Welcome in. Jeff Lageman with us now, Jaguars analyst. Good afternoon to you, Logs. Happy bye week. Deer season's upon us in Georgia. That's a good sign for you, so I'm sure you had a nice bye week.
I did. It was too short, as they always get. The older you get, the shorter they get, for some reason.
That was your, the outdoor show is Saturday morning on 1010XL, what, 7 to 10? But how many did you harvest this week? What's the limit? I don't know what that was.
I didn't get any.
None. None of the above.
No, I just I helped other people do that.
Okay, good. That's a good start. Hey, it's a marathon.
I had a great time.
Good.
I had a great time with family and lots of fun watching the animals.
Yeah, that's not a bad.
And I did a deep dive.
Deep. So you got
to use the term that seems to be popular nowadays about when you're doing some research, etc.
I'll say this. I did a deep dive into the couch and watched a lot of college football on Saturday and a decent amount of NFL Sunday, but not all.
I watched a little bit on Sunday night, and then I watched the first half with my game board in front of me, etc., because obviously the Jaguars getting ready to play the Seattle Seahawks, and so was able to watch that game with my little cheat sheet in front of me and to just kind of make some notes. And now I've got the game right here beside me, watching it again, so you can rewatch and do the deep understanding or the research, on the intricacies of the Seattle Seahawks. So it's all good.
It's going to be an interesting week. Going out to Seattle always is. The Jaguars historically have not fared well out on the West Coast. We know the numbers there. They're not great at all.
As the West Coast teams typically don't perform well on the East Coast. I mean, I think that's it works both ways. And I will say, JP, that the Microsoft Surfaces of today might be the greatest invention ever for a deer hunt.
Is this an ad?
No, seriously.
Okay.
The reason I say that is because you can take this thing to a deer stand and you can be watching game film at the same time while you're hunting. Isn't that amazing?
Technology's grand. I'll say that. That's pretty incredible. You can, take your eyes off of, the Seahawks offense and look up and there's Bambi walking right in front of the stand. That's really great.
Awesome. Not
good for Bambi, but good for you.
Well, it's actually good for Bambi because it's a distraction, so
it keeps you away from it. So looking forward to that game. It's apparently I've never been to Seattle, never been to the stadium.
What?
But the scene's incredible.
You've never been to Seattle?
Never been to Seattle. No.
Wow.
No.
It's I will say it's a really cool stadium. Seattle, the city itself, I think is can be good. It can be bad. I know that there's some positives and some negatives, which I don't really want to go into. But the stadium itself is beautiful.
Oh, yeah, right downtown, right?
The noise level of what is it called now?
Lumen Field.
I don't remember exactly. There's been so many different names.
Right.
I guess
CenturyLink and
everything kind of has a lot of names when it comes to stadiums.
But they built this in mind with the decibels and everything in mind.
It is a cool stadium, and it is incredibly loud. I mean, their fan base is for years, the loudest outdoor place to play in was always the Buffalo Bills. And that's, kind of going back to when they were in their heyday with Marv Levy and Jim Kelly and Bruce Smith. And I was actually a player back then. I mean, that place was incredibly loud. And then you go to a game in Seattle now with Pete Carroll, and they're historically good, it seems like. That place rivals Buffalo in their heyday and maybe even surpasses it. I mean, that's a strong fan base that is in Seattle, and they are passionate, incredibly passionate.
Plenty more on that game coming up a little later in Jaguars Happy Hour today. Let's hear from head coach Urban Meyer. He spoke with the media on Monday in a press conference, and you know what? No more excuses moving ahead for the offense or for the young quarterback.
And that's another reason why I signed a guy like Marvin Jones and some older players. You know, I felt good about our offensive line because you had a couple of veterans in there that I would learn from. But just when you start saying how many reps in practice you get compared to the college life, and yet you still have these unforced errors that we're making. So I feel good about the second run that we're going to go on here, about just the efficiency. And now we've been in the system for a while. Now the excuse of a new system, the excuse of a young quarterback, that's all gone because our young quarterback's playing pretty good.
Yes, he is, Urban. In fact, playing better over the last few weeks. The numbers have gone up. The rating has gone up. Everything's improving for him. The offense, as the weeks have gone along, has felt better also. And the new is gone. Here they are. It's a third of the way through the season logs. There's no more new.
Well, just a couple little stats to kind of back up what you're saying and what Urban talked about. Last week they had like almost 400 yards of offense. I mean, that's
pretty good.
That's tremendous.
Yeah.
And Trevor's numbers from the first 3 weeks of the season compared to the next block of 3 games, so weeks 1 to 3 and then weeks 4 to 6, if you do a look at those numbers, the touchdown to interception ratio obviously is a big difference in the first 3 games. He ended up having 5 touchdown passes, 7 interceptions. The last 3 games, he only has 2 touchdown passes, but only 1 interception.
Mm-hmm.
So he's kind of flipped the touchdown to interception ratio in the first 3 weeks to the second 3 weeks. The completion percentage jumped 12 percentage points.
That's good.
First 3 weeks to the
That's
second
positive.
3 weeks. Okay,
Yeah.
weeks 1, 3, 4, 6.
Mm-hmm.
And then the yards per attempt went up 2.5 yards about. And then the rating went up 33.5 points.
That's good.
I mean, that's significant improvement. And that's tangible. Because I think for many weeks, a lot of people were saying, he just feels like he's playing better, et cetera. Well, the numbers don't lie.
Yeah, that's right.
And the numbers are significant, and he's coming off of what was a tremendous game. His rating this past game in London, which, oh, by the way, he was the first rookie to ever win in London.
Yes, he was. 319
yards passing. He was 25 of 41, but there was probably about 3 drops and 2 balls that the receiver should have worked back to him. So he should have been 30-plus for 41. For 370 yards, but he still had a rating of a 93.4. I mean, that's really good. Really good.
So, all right, I don't want to take anything away from Trevor's performance personally. How much of it is Trevor making proper decisions? How much of it is the offense, as it's been called the last few weeks, to maybe help him out, get him a little more comfortable, run the ball a little bit more with Robinson in key moments, or run the ball later in the game? Is it a balance there of those two things?
Well, I think it's a balance. I think the execution has to be better, and then I think also the coaching gets better.
Yeah.
They get more comfortable with calling plays that I think fit him. And in the first couple weeks of the season, they weren't really running a whole lot of that read option type look stuff.
Not at all.
Exactly, and they increased some of that, and that you could see kind of helped some of the productivity with Trevor. But they're doing it without having him run the ball a ton, especially in this past game at London, which is good because you don't want to overexpose him to the run. And look, he ran the ball a ton at Clemson. But you can't have him doing that at the pro level. He won't last long. See RG3, by the way, if you're looking for evidence of that.
Sure.
Okay.
I think he got hurt against the Jaguars, actually.
Lamar Jackson's of the world, I mean, there's not many that are like Lamar Jackson. And Trevor is not Lamar Jackson, nor will he ever be. He's athletic and he's a capable runner, but he's not a Michael Vick / Lamar Jackson. So let's, just –
he's what he is now. He's what he is. This is perfect.
And I give the coaching staff credit seriously on this, okay? Because they have showed an incredible amount of restraint. Because here's the reality. If you're a coaching staff and you're getting criticized and you're not winning games, what's the urge? What's the natural urge? Okay, let's run the quarterback some.
Yeah.
It'll make us better. Okay, but they've resisted that urge. And a lot of people say, well, they shouldn't have resisted it. No, absolutely, they should.
Yeah.
You can't let Trevor Lawrence grow and in a system that requires him to run. That's not what he is. That's not what you want him to be at the NFL. He needs to be an NFL quarterback. This is no longer college.
Yeah, the running thing is a short-term vision. The long-term grand vision is him to stand back there and deal the ball out to everybody else.
There are guys in the NFL that will hit you that when you get hit, your family feel it. Your entire family will feel it. Okay, in college football, you might have a guy or two every week that might be able to do that. But in the NFL, they are going to make you and your family feel it.
That's right.
And, I mean, there's a term, and I won't use it, but it's a grown type of man. Okay, what they call.
Why don't you use that?
Grown.
That's okay.
Grown blank man.
Okay,
okay, that can hit you.
Yes.
Okay, and you don't want Trevor getting hit like that. And
No,
but seriously, what has impressed me the most about him is, I mean, the numbers. Yes, I mean that is impressive. But this week, and I'm going to show this on Jaguars All Access, is his relationship with guys that he's worked with. You can tell it's there. Last week I showed how his pocket presence was just tremendous, and it really was. I mean, it was so good and well on display against the Miami Dolphins because Miami brought a lot of pressure. So there was a lot of opportunity for him to operate that presence, so to speak, and he did, and did it to a T. And the more he works with people, week in, week out, season in, season out, year in, year out, like what Tom Brady's had the benefit of doing, and he works incredibly hard in the offseason. Trevor Lawrence is going to have that type of chemistry that he has with Marvin Jones Jr. with a few guys, and hopefully guys that have immensely talented guys that have vertical speed and all that kind of stuff, so that this offense continues to get better.
Takes time to build that, though. Not going to happen overnight.
Yeah, I mean, look, just
off
like
season or two, really.
And we'll get this at some point. But look, just like the defense, you want to see rapid improvement out of the defense and see them do better, affecting the quarterback, because I mean, opposing quarterbacks are having great success against the Jaguars defense. But look, you fixed the run defense from last year to this year. Last year they were one of the worst teams in the league against the run, and now if you look at like per yards or yards per rush allowed, they're one of the best teams in the league, and they're about middle of the pack as far as overall yards rushing game per game allowed. But you can't address everything in one offseason, and it takes more than one draft to get impact players, and in due time they will get that. They're going to have that opportunity. They obviously have to take advantage of the opportunity.
Logs, when we come back, we'll go to defense and see what you found in the bye week.
We can do that.
I'm sure you found something in the bye week.
And I'm continuing to find stuff all the time, JP. I'm doing my deep research.
I like that. And we're going to get some answers when we come back on the defensive side of the football. We are off and running on a Tuesday. It's Jaguars Happy Hour on the Jaguars Hard Rock Sportsbook Digital Network.
Jaguars Happy Hour is brought to you by Dreamfinders Homes, homes that fit your lifestyle. And by Baptist Health, changing healthcare for good.
Hi, I'm Tito Beverage, founder and master distiller at Tito's Handmade Vodka. In 1997, we became the first micro distillery in the state of Texas, and we're still making the same smooth stuff after all these years. We're still cooking in a pot still, working with our dogs by our sides, having fun and tasting batches, and I'm still wearing the same hat, even after all these years. Head over to Tito'sVodka.com to learn more about what else we're doing the same. Cheers. 80 proof Tito's Handmade Vodka, distilled and bottled in Austin, Texas. Tito'sVodka.com.
Great teams leave it all on the field. But with the powerful towing and payload that Ford F-150 delivers, you can take it all with you, too. No wonder Ford F-Series is America's best-selling truck 44 years straight. The 2021 Ford F-150, built for greatness. Visit your local Ford dealer or buyfordnow.com. based on 1977 to 2020 calendar year total sales.
Hey Jaguars fans, it's always game on with Dunkin's $2 medium hot or iced coffee Tuesdays for rewards members. The NFL season is more than just what happens on game day. That's why Dunkin' wants to get you through the game week too. During football season, the best call is always Dunkin'. Whether it's the morning after a late night game or getting hyped for the week to come, pick up a cup of your favorite coffee and tackle the day with Dunkin'. Join today and order ahead of the Dunkin' app. Jacksonville Jaguars run on Dunkin'. Exclusions apply. Participation may vary. Limit 1 per week. Hard Rock Sportsbook is coming to Florida. Join the Seminole Tribe of Florida and Hard Rock for safe, trusted, and completely legal sports betting. Go to hardrocksportsbook.com to get all the latest details leading up to launch. Play remotely from anywhere in Florida, including on your phone or computer or in person at Seminole Casinos. Want great promotions like free bets, odds boosts, and bonuses? Hard Rock Sportsbook will have all your favorite bets and promotions. Hard Rock Sportsbook, the best place to be a Jaguars fan. Coming soon. Must be at least 21 and physically present in Florida to wager. Concerned about gambling? Please call 1-800-522-4700.
At Tropical Smoothie Cafe, one taste and you're feeling good now, smiling wider now, seeing brighter now, bucket dunking now, namasteing now, popping a wheelie now, living lighter now. You're on Tropic Time now. And on Mondays, try our Jaguars Duval Delight Smoothies for $2.99. And you're roaring louder now, end zone dancing now, sipping spirit now. You're on Tropic Time now at Tropical Smoothie Cafe.
Your family isn't like anyone else's. Your home shouldn't be either. At Dreamfinders Homes, you can build the home of your dreams in one of their 30-plus communities in Northeast Florida. Choose from luxury single-family homes or maintenance-free townhomes from the 200s. Dreamfinders specializes in homes built to fit your lifestyle. To find out more, call 904-738-0165 or visit dreamfindershomes.com.
The station that the Jaguars listen to, 1010XL. Home of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
I think we went into the storm thinking that we're going to be playing via a very high percentage of man coverage, and we figured out quickly that we're going to have to mix in a lot of zone. And then that's where you say, okay, the number of reps you have to get the team ready to play that zone cover. You can't say, okay, let's play, but go play zone. So that bye week was good. We spent some time on that, the combination of both. That's the biggest thing on defense. And then the flat MAs. You know, there's 4 times we just turned a guy loose in man coverage because of bunch routes, pick routes, or whatever. And you're talking about 4 times that in those games that were really close. So I see this, I really like where we're headed in defense, but we need to start seeing it.
That's Urban Meyer Monday, and welcome back. It's Jaguars Happy Hour. MAs are missed assignments, by the way. JP Shadrick, Jeff Lageman.
MAs, MEs, it's kind of the same thing.
Mental errors.
Mental errors. And we used to have a fine pot for that.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
What was the fine? Like $100?
Well, we had actually a grand, very large fine system.
Oh, my goodness.
And typically in the NFL, you'll have this, it'll be in a meeting room. You might have a defensive pot.
Yeah.
When I say pot, like a kitty, like where if you have, and here's finable offenses, okay? Mental errors.
Right.
Loafs.
Loafer. Missed
tackles.
Nobody likes those.
Late for meetings, etc. And so
this is outside of the,
this is not like a fine by the team.
The team wouldn't take it out of your check.
No. This is
internal. This is
JP,
handling it internally.
This is me, you, and Joe and Reber, and we're all defensive linemen, broadcasters.
And let's say you loaf for a show, we could fine you $100 and it goes in the kitty.
Exactly, but it doesn't come out of my paycheck. I have to put cash in.
Okay.
So it's after tax.
It's a double fine.
It's after tax dollars.
Wow.
Okay.
That's worse.
Cash has to be put in. So you get, for example, if you have a loaf, this is back in my day, which the fines were obviously much cheaper than probably what they are now.
I'm guessing so.
But if you had like a loaf in practice, it would be, let's say, $10. Mm-hmm. But in a game, it would be double. It would be 20, maybe even more.
Yes.
So if you had a ME, mental error, in practice, it would be twice as much if you had one in a game.
Okay.
But all of it's finable. Practice, because that gets people to get on their P's and Q's, more efficient, right?
Yeah, you keep throwing money out my wallet. Yeah, I'm going to, probably pay more attention.
And, even if you passed gas in a meeting, that was
okay.
I hate to say that, but look, if you're in a room full of men and guys start stinking it up, you've got to have a way to discourage them from doing that.
Okay.
So you had a fine system. So you would have all this money that you would collect throughout the season, okay? And, JP, I've got a feeling you would be putting a lot of money in, just saying. But
I don't loaf.
Yeah, well,
I'll say that.
Not
Okay.
what I was referring to, but you would have all this money that goes into this pool or pot, okay? And at the end of the year, we used to have a positional party.
Mm-hmm.
In other words, we would all defensive linemen, and this started when I was in New York, and we had the same thing here, but you would take all that money and we would get car services, and we would go and eat some of the best fine dining in New York City could offer, and then we would have a night out afterwards, and the coach was included, not the head coach, the positional coach.
Okay.
And we would have a great time. So we, for all the guys that had loafs and mental errors and all that kind of stuff, we would be eating on their dime.
So how are you going to equate this to the MAs that Urban was just talking about?
I'm just saying is that if they don't have the fine system pot going, they need to institute it.
I'm going to fine you for having too many pens on the desk.
Not possible.
That's a $50 fine.
That's called being prepared. That would actually be a credit out of the pot.
$10 for every additional pen you don't need on the desk.
I have all these pens that are ready at the hand.
One blue, one red.
But that is accountability. It can't come, and this is seriously now, accountability in the NFL, it can come, the coach can demand it and ask it and all that kind of stuff. Mm-hmm. But the best kind of accountability comes from peers, from teammates. When teammates demand more of each other, that's when I think greatness can happen.
You have to have, you've been in there, obviously. When you have players who have skins on the wall, that have been at it for a long time in the NFL,
Mm-hmm.
that are veteran players that have played at a high level, that goes a longer way than some young new player trying to be a leader all of a sudden, right? Those guys are around for a while.
It's hard for it's hard for young players to be a leader, because to be a leader in the National Football League, you have to be a good player.
Good.
And you have to be a proven player. It's very difficult. That's why I think it's very unique that Trevor Lawrence, which is it's incredible that a rookie quarterback comes in the door and gets elected as the team captain. Wow. That's big time now. It's big time. That's almost unheard of for that to happen. So, it's a credit to Trevor. But typically it takes players time to prove it. To prove that they're a good player, and Trevor proved some of that during training camp, obviously. But still, you need to be a good player to be a leader. But really, and I'm sure that part of the research that the coaching staff did is now trying to demand as much accountability as they can to eliminate mental errors, to eliminate mistakes or penalties or things that can be controlled, because that's what costs you opportunities to win. But when you start having a system of accountability that comes from the players, and you have great players that are demanding that accountability, and you have great players that can execute, that's when you truly have the chance to be great.
It's got to be one of the bigger differences, and I'm sure we'll hear from Urban on this coming up in the Urban Meyer Show, 5 o'clock. Practice schedule times. He talked about it a little bit on Monday. There's not a lot of practice time in the NFL, especially during the season. The Friday practice is a walkthrough, basically, and then Wednesday's the big install day, but there's no room for error during practice, because you have to go use the reps that are there, at least the somewhat live reps in practice. And coming from college, that's a totally different realm in college now. Those guys are
you have a union. In the National Football League, so there are rules, and the rules actually go down to the exact amount of time that you're allowed to be on a football field for a practice, the number of practices that you can have in pads, the number of practices that you can have during the week. it's all governed. I mean, here's the thing that, and a lot of people want to use that as an excuse or a reason to point to, well, that's why we're not doing good enough, and this is why we don't get the opportunity to get enough practice. We don't get them enough reps to be able to get guys. But no, because the rules are the same for everybody in the entire league.
Absolutely.
So there are other ways that you have to be creative. So the time that you have in the National Football League, the meeting time, the practice time, the on-the-field time, the weight room time, all of that is literally, I mean, they have a clock on everything. So you have to utilize that clock to the best of your ability to maximize the benefit that you're going to get from the amount of time that the players actually spend in the building. Now, there are also ways that outside or away from the building and off of that clock that a player can get better. That's where the Microsoft surfaces, the film study at home, those type of things that can happen. And that's also partly player-driven. I'll give you another example. Who is, in your opinion, JP?
Yes, Logs.
This is a little trivia question.
I can't wait
here.
for this.
And this would
put me on the spot.
Joe is also available for this too.
Okay.
Tell me one of the greatest defensive backs to ever play for the San Francisco 49ers.
Oh, Ronnie Lott.
Absolutely.
Safety.
Okay. Without a doubt.
Yeah.
And Ronnie was my teammate in New York.
Yeah. And
I learned so much from Ronnie. And because when Ronnie came to us in New York, and this was in the era of, we had Bruce Coslet as our head coach. Pete Carroll was our defensive coordinator, who the Jaguars will face this week, the head coach of the Seattle Seahawks. And they bring in Ronnie. And Ronnie was obviously towards the end of his career, but still a phenomenal player. But Ronnie taught us what it was like to do more than just what was on the clock. We didn't have any guidelines for us back then as far as the amount of time that you could spend or maximum amount of time that you could spend in the building. But Ronnie wanted guys to commit. And this is where I talk about great players demanding more of their teammates makes a team get better. When Ronnie came in, Ronnie said, look, when we finish with practice, a lot of times you would see guys just start scatting out the building. They were gone. They would, do the practice thing. You have meetings all morning. You have a quick lunch and then have practice, and then they might get a quick workout in, and then out the building they go. They want to get out of there. Ronnie's like, wait a minute. Where's our film study at? I mean, this is a great opportunity. So Ronnie would literally go, and this was before teams had catered food and cafeterias and all this stuff. He went out and catered food service, bring in soul food and cater for the entire defense.
That's nice.
So we would have a catered dinner twice a week, and I think it was on Wednesdays and Thursdays, and the food was excellent. And we would all stay and have dinner, early dinner, and watch film together. I mean, that was what it was about. It was about getting guys to commit, getting guys to doing the extra kind of thing. And Ronnie was a big part of that. And great player, great leader, and I learned a lot from him.
Let's come back in a moment and get into a little more of the defensive talk. Urban touched on that a moment ago. We heard him talk about maybe playing a little too much man defense and maybe moving more towards zone. And get your thoughts on what that actually might look like moving ahead.
Okay, well, if you forget to do that, I'm going to fine you. And that's going to go into our
then we'll be even
accountability
because
pot.
of your
We're
17 pins on the desk.
The accountability pot.
Yes, it is. I like it. It's the accountability episode of Jaguars Happy Hour on the Jaguars Hard Rock Sportsbook Digital Network.
Jaguars Happy Hour is brought to you by TIAA Bank. Turn potential into progress. And by Publix, where shopping is a pleasure.
Hi, I'm Tito Beverage, founder and master distiller at Tito's Handmade Vodka. In 1997, we became the first micro distillery in the state of Texas, and we're still making the same smooth stuff after all these years. We're still cooking in a pot still, working with our dogs by our sides, having fun and tasting batches, and I'm still wearing the same hat, even after all these years. Head over to Tito'sVodka.com to learn more about what else we're doing the same. Cheers. 80 proof Tito's Handmade Vodka, distilled and bottled in Austin, Texas. Tito'sVodka.com.
Hi folks, Frank Frangie here to tell you where to find the most authentic Southern Pit barbecue in all of Jacksonville. That's right, Bono's. For 72 years, Bono's has been smoking real pit barbecue right here on the First Coast. Smoked for hours, served in minutes, and always cut to order. You can find Bono's locations all around town and on game day at TIAA Bank Field. Bono's is the official barbecue of the Jacksonville Jaguars. If you want great barbecue, head to Bono's today. If you don't see a pit, it ain't legit.
Headquartered right here in Jacksonville, CSI Companies is one of the fastest growing workforce solutions companies in the nation. As a proud partner of your Jacksonville Jaguars, CSI has the resources necessary to scale with any enterprise, yet they are small enough to maintain the agility, personal service, and remarkable experience they've become known for over the past 3 decades. This is your workforce and your business reimagined. Visit CSICompanies.com to learn more.
The Land Rover Defender story began with the simple thought of creating an exceptionally capable off-road vehicle, becoming the go-anywhere, do-anything all-terrain machine. Today, there's a new Land Rover Defender, the toughest and most advanced Land Rover vehicle ever. From the beginning, Land Rover knew the new Defender was capable of great things. Motor Trend's 2021 SUV of the Year is just the latest example. Test drive the new Land Rover Defender today at Land Rover Jacksonville on Atlantic Boulevard, or go to LandRoverJacksonville.com. Land Rover, above and beyond. Ready to take the next step toward the ultimate you. Dr. Patrick Basil, official plastic surgeon of the Jacksonville Jaguars, presents the Ultimate You Sweepstakes. Enter for a chance to win a cool sculpting treatment package valued at $4,500, plus a Jaguars performance training session. Receive your free customized treatment in a relaxed, modern, patient-centered environment. Learn more and enter the sweepstakes at jaguars.com/ultimateyou or call 904-222-6262. Terms and conditions apply. No purchase necessary.
Jaguars fans, here's a great way to pay with pride wherever you go. Exclusively from TIAA Bank, the Jacksonville Jaguars Visa debit card comes with a fierce look and fantastic features, along with the convenience to make purchases online or at millions of locations worldwide. And it's yours, free, when you open a Yield Pledge checking account. Order yours today. Visit TIAABank.com/JagsCard. TIAA Bank is a division of TIAA, FSB, member FDIC, and the official bank of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Mike Dempsey and Fat Tony. Jaguars Today. All Jaguars, all NFL, all the time. 10 to noon weekdays on 1010XL.
Welcome back. It's Jaguars Happy Hour on a Tuesday afternoon. The bye week is over. It's on to Seattle for the Jacksonville Jaguars. JP Shadrick, Jeff Lageman coming up at 5 o'clock. It's the Urban Meyer Show with Jaguars head coach Urban Meyer. We'll get his thoughts on the bye week and what they've done, what they've looked at, and moving ahead toward the Seattle Seahawks. Jaguars game day broadcasts are presented by ViStar Credit Union, and the Daily's Play schedule is starting to wind down now for the fall. Only 2 shows left on the schedule. Kane Brown, 2 nights, November 12th and 13th. These are rescheduled dates from last year. So get your tickets, DailysPlace.com. It has been a great run at Daily's Place, and actually an all-time run. And all the folks over there that do the work in the ticketing department for Daily's, Bobby and the security and the back end side, Jackie over there at Daily's Place, they have been working you don't want to talk about working their tails off. They had, one week they had like 6 shows in 1 week, night after night after night, load in, load out, in the morning, out late. I mean, it's like crazy schedule.
Busy folks.
Crazy folks.
By the way,
because they had to get them all in like a short window of time.
I was asked during the commercial break,
yeah,
did Ronnie Lott pay every day or
every
week?
That was a good point. Joe Fortunato brought this up. You know, you guys were just mooching off Ronnie Lott the whole time. You guys get paid too.
We shared responsibility with that.
I hope so.
But typically, I will say that. Put it this way: if there was a guy on the team and he was making minimum, he wasn't expected to buy dinner. Okay.
Yeah.
Usually, the guys that were making the big coin were the ones that would pay for something like that.
Well, that's nice of you guys. Way to go, Logs.
Well, I wasn't making big coin then. I was.
Come on, first round pick. Of course you were.
Yeah, but I mean, JP, and this is kind of this is real.
Maybe not in leather helmet days.
If you took the first round pick money of 1989,
no, I'm messing.
Seriously, and this is just for people that had no clue. If you take the first round pick money for a first round pick in 1989, you would make more money now making minimum wage your first 4 years in the NFL than you would if you were a first-round pick in 1989.
Yeah.
Which is tremendous. I mean, it's great. I mean, the league has grown and they're making more money, and it has become bigger than ever. So, but the thing about the fine system, we even had, for example, we would put money in a pot for, let's say, hey, first guy that causes a fumble in this game, and guys would throw in some money into that.
Mm-hmm.
And you remember Bounty Gate?
Yeah.
That's kind of what we had.
It's a fine line, though. You don't want to go that far.
Well, I know. I mean, we had some pots that probably would have drawn some scrutiny back in the day for maybe a guy not finishing a game somehow or another. But yeah.
I mean, is this do we need to lay you down on the couch and really get you to? We're digging deep here on something today.
We're doing a deep dive into the fine system.
This might be a dive that we don't need to go so deep on.
No, I'm not going to go any deeper than that. But I mean, and the whole point that I bring this up is that when stuff like that comes from the players, I mean, that's what you want. I mean, you want guys that are motivated to perform and demanding more of their teammates and expecting more, and you're trying to find creative ways to get guys to be motivated. I mean, it makes it fun. It makes it fun because, it gives you a reason. And here's the other thing it does. For example, when we had Pete Carroll as our defensive coordinator, to use Pete Carroll's story, he had this thing, and it was called, he always called it the Beaver. You know how, like at the University of Miami, you got the big necklace, and if you get a turnover, you wear the big necklace?
It's the turnover chain, yes.
Okay, is that what it's called?
Turnover chain. That's what it's called, yes.
With Pete, when he was our defensive coordinator in New York, we had a stuffed animal that was a beaver.
Okay, all right.
And he chose the beaver because the beaver was the hardest working animal in the animal kingdom, and he always felt that getting takeaways, and this is kind of off the record.
Yeah, okay.
Seriously,
well, it's on the record now.
No, I know, because the beaver was the hardest working animal in the animal kingdom, getting takeaways and causing fumbles was actually because of hard work and attention. So, I mean, you can't cause a fumble unless you're going for the ball. Did you see Darius Leonard Sunday night?
Yes.
Of the Indianapolis Colts?
Right.
Okay.
Correct.
So we had
You don't get a forced fumble if you don't force the fumble.
So we would have
makes sense
pots every week for the beaver.
Okay.
So whoever got the caused fumble, they would not only get the pot, JP, but
you get to have that thing in your locker.
No, it was on
around
a rope.
You
would hang it. You would wear it like a necklace.
Right.
It was a stuffed beaver.
You guys, that's good. Motivation.
It's kind of embarrassing grown men were having a stuffed animal for motivation to get a takeaway in a football game.
No comment. I mean, whatever works.
It was just a point of emphasis with Pete. Hey, look, it's the hardest working animal. We want to be the hardest working animals. We want to be the ones that are going after the ball. It's about the ball. And then we instituted a little pot system to spice it up a little bit. But I will say that we had a pot that kept rolling over because we had a couple of games because, every week you would put more money into it. We had a game to where the pot got very large, and it was one of the worst tackling performances we've ever had. Everybody was going for the daggone ball.
Tackle the guy.
Oh, it was terrible. Nobody was going for the tackle.
See?
Everybody was trying to cause a fumble.
Professional football is all about the money. It always is about the money.
You would be surprised, JP. You can have guys making millions of dollars, and if you put the $500 pot, you would be surprised at what they would do for a $500 cash pot.
They would. A little while back in this show, we heard from Urban Meyer and the defensive adjustments that they've seen over the bye week, looked at, and they're thinking about making, and he referenced the secondary and the coverage. A lot of the year earlier, they thought they could be more man-to-man coverage. They had the personnel they thought earlier in the season. That has changed a little bit since then. So maybe it's more zone-oriented. They're using both anyway. What was the balanced look before, and what could be the feel moving ahead here?
Well, look, when you had the expectation of playing man, you were thinking, okay, we've got a top 10 selection from last year in C.J. Henderson, and he'll be good. We've got a second-round pick in Tyson Campbell. He'll be good. And then we've spent a ton of money in free agency on Shaq Griffin. He's going to be good. So now we've got three corners. Let's play man. Okay, great.
Yeah.
Well, a couple things happened. CJ didn't play to the level that you wanted him to. It looked like he was questioning his love for football, and then he got hurt, and then he got traded. So, so there's one guy out the window. Tyson Campbell struggling a little bit, okay, and also injury. So you add those two things together, now you have another player probably not at the level that and I believe he will get to a better level and a level that makes you very happy with him, but right now he's not there. And then Shaq Griffin is good. He's had some opportunities that he hasn't been able to take advantage of.
That's correct.
So when you have a certain level of expectation, you have to have the performance that also follows that to be able to execute man coverage. Because if you can't execute man coverage, and this is no criticism, but the reality is that you have to have great players that can play man to play man. And if you don't have great players, then you have to be better at what I call team zone defense, which means keeping your eyes back to the quarterback, and you're relying on watching and reading the eyes of the quarterback and reacting to route concepts and attaching yourself to man coverage within a zone. I mean, there's a lot of ways to look at that, but that's what they have to do, and there's nothing wrong with that. There's many teams in the league that would like to play man, but they can't just because they don't have the personnel, and hopefully in the future they will get the personnel to where they can run more man. But let's not forget here, it's not like they're going to completely stay away from man coverage.
No, they're still going to play both. They have to mix it in there.
It's just changed, and it's already happened. They've already started playing a lot more zone. So it's just changing the mix of man and zone, the percentages of each.
More zone, more eyes to the quarterback too.
Correct. And
more
also,
opportunities for takeaways.
And also, if you have a missed assignment or a missed coverage in zone, other people see it. So, for example, if me and you are, if we can get this two-shot here.
Oh,
so
great.
both of us are in the look here.
Here we are on TV.
Okay, let's say I'm not here. Well, JP's eyes are, and Joe's the quarterback, which is behind the camera. Joe's the quarterback. Okay, you're going to, if all of a sudden I blow the coverage over here, you've seen that the quarterback's thrown the ball over here, and as you're looking, you're going, oh my gosh, I got to help because that's going to be a completion over there. Well, if it's man, where's your back?
To the quarterback.
Exactly.
I'm running downfield chasing my guy.
You're not going to see Joe throw the ball.
Exactly.
So by the time you see that the ball's over here and I've blown my coverage, you don't have an opportunity to react. And so that's what zone does. It just gives you the opportunity to maybe minimize some of the damage.
You're underestimating my reaction time. I must say that, Logs.
Underestimating?
You are underestimating. I can react.
I would be very surprised.
React. I can react.
Well, with a microphone, you're great, JP.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
To zone coverage,
not football, but
couldn't do it.
No, probably not.
But
Actually,
I mean,
not.
there's nothing wrong with this team going to more zone. But now the challenge is that you prepared all preseason to play more man. Well, now you're playing more zone, so you now also kind of have to start trying to teach or doing again, I don't want to say you're installing because you've already had it installed, but you have to make sure that you're teaching the concepts of the zone. And it's not as easy to do that now because you're in the regular season and you have to install game plans. And, it's hard to say, let's get you a bunch of reps in cover 2 and 3 and 4 and 5. I mean, look, you don't have the time to do all that.
And, I mean, not that this is a huge concern, but you got defensive coordinator, Joe Cullen, right? You got 3 different secondary coaches as well, right? Nichols coach, corner coach, safety coach. So, I mean, it's just a lot of people involved.
There's a lot of they have a very large staff with Urban here. So, I mean, there's plenty
a lot of people involved.
Plenty. I mean, your teacher-to-student ratio, if you want to look at it from that aspect, is very good.
Yeah, right. We'll come back in a moment. And the injury report right around the corner. We'll take a look at the AFC South results, the standings, and the upcoming schedules for all the AFC South teams, Logs. I know you'll look forward to that.
Very much so.
We'll see. We'll compare schedules.
Okay.
Coming up the next few weeks.
How do we compare?
We'll look at them on the screen.
Okay.
And talk through them on the radio.
Maybe we were comparing like my schedule to your schedule, and I was kind of confused.
There's no competition.
Okay.
This is Jaguars Happy Hour on the Jaguars Hard Rock Sportsbook Digital Network.
Hi, I'm Tito Beverage, founder and master distiller at Tito's Handmade Vodka. In 1997, we became the first micro distillery in the state of Texas, and we're still making the same smooth stuff after all these years. We're still cooking in a pot still, working with our dogs by our sides, having fun and tasting batches, and I'm still wearing the same hat, even after all these years. Head over to Tito'sVodka.com to learn more about what else we're doing the same. Cheers. 80 proof Tito's Handmade Vodka, distilled and bottled in Austin, Texas. Tito'sVodka.com.
Are you suffering from shoulder pain? If you have clicking and popping in the shoulder joint, persistent pain that intensifies with use, an inability to lift your arm over your head, or a tingling, burning sensation in the shoulder, elbow, or wrist, waiting to see a doctor could make your injury worse. Baptist Health and Jacksonville Orthopedic Institute have innovative and effective treatment options available right now to relieve your pain and restore your mobility. Don't wait. Call 904-JOI-2000.
Your family isn't like anyone else's. Your home shouldn't be either. At Dreamfinders Homes, you can build the home of your dreams in one of their 30-plus communities in Northeast Florida. Choose from luxury single-family homes or maintenance-free townhomes from the 200s. Dreamfinders specializes in homes built to fit your lifestyle. To find out more, call 904-738-0165 or visit dreamfindershomes.com.
Jags fans, did you know you can ride your bike to every Jaguars home game at TIAA Bank Field in Valley Park for free? That's right. Stop by our bicycle check-in tent sponsored by Alert Today Florida near Gate 1 at TIAA Bank Field. An on-duty ZenCog bike professional will park your bike and ensure it's secure during the game. When the game is over, return your claim ticket to pick up your bike. For cycling safety tips, visit alerttodayflorida.com. Remember, Alert Today, alive tomorrow, because safety doesn't happen by accident.
So, it's happy hour. Let's talk whiskey options. Have you tried Citrus Distillers? Have you tried Citrus Distillers Limited Edition 2021 Barrel-Aged Jaguar Whiskey? Did you know it's only available for a limited time and manufactured in Jacksonville? Yes, Jacksonville. I said local whiskey. Try it on the rocks or in a Jack's Whiskey Sour. Citrus Distillers Jaguars Whiskey is available at local liquor stores, restaurants, and the Jaguar Stadium. Drink local, Jacksonville. Find recipes and events at jaguarswhiskey.com.
Great teams leave it all on the field. But with the powerful towing and payload that Ford F-150 delivers, you can take it all with you, too. No wonder Ford F-Series is America's best-selling truck 44 years straight. The 2021 Ford F-150, built for greatness. Visit your local Ford dealer or buyfordnow.com. Based on 1977 to 2020 calendar year total sales.
When Jaguars news breaks, you'll hear about it first on 1010XL, home of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Welcome back. It's Jaguars Happy Hour, and if you're looking for the MVP of the truck game, then look no further than Ford F-150. Loaded with impressive capability and designed to dominate work, play, and everything in between, this truck makes tough look easy. No wonder it's the official truck of the NFL and proud partner of your Jacksonville Jaguars. Welcome back. JP Shadrick, Jeff Lageman, Joe Fortunato, Brent Reber, and veterans. Choose VA for the benefits you've earned. Visit choose.va.gov. Jags and the Seahawks coming up in Week 8, Lumen Field in Seattle, Washington. A 4:05 Eastern Time kickoff. That means we'll be on the air at, 1 o'clock with the Publix Tailgate Show this Sunday.
That means getting home very late.
I'll be home early.
You'll be home.
I'll be fine.
I
7, 8,
know.
9, probably 10 o'clock. You know, hey,
we're comparing schedules. You got an easy one. Yeah, I get it. You know.
Easy. Okay.
Must be nice.
All right, Logs. Well, NFL game. That's what
good.
we're doing. It's the NFL.
It's all good. By the way, I hope.
What are you dressing up for as Halloween? By the way,
I've been told that I have to wear a set of Mickey Mouse ears on Sunday.
Okay. On Sunday.
On Sunday,
in Seattle.
I have to wear. I was told that I have to wear a set of Mickey Mouse ears as a costume for game day.
What about the rest of the uniform?
So I will.
The rest of Mickey didn't just wear mouse ears. I mean, Mickey has.
Well, JP,
come on now, that would be something. You showed up in the booth in Seattle with the whole suit on and everything.
No, I can't do that.
Yeah, you can. Come on.
I promised my lovely daughter that I would wear the mouse ears for the game.
No, we'll have photographic evidence is the only thing that can make that true.
As long as it doesn't interfere with wearing the headset.
Well, we'll work on that. We can work on
so
that.
We'll have
we can
to
work.
see.
We can work around.
See
that.
how the ears fit and headset fit, and then we'll go from there.
Time now for the Baptist Health Injury Report. Changing healthcare for good. We take a look at what Urban said last week. Barch, Campbell, Jack should be back to action this week. We'll hear what Coach has to say coming up in just a little bit on the Urban Meyer Show. Injured reserve official names still Chark, Linder, Can, O'Shaughnessy, Etienne, and Terry Godwin, the wide receiver. But there you are. The bye week. It's week 7 going on week 8. You got some guys dinged up a little bit. Give them an extra week off and, maybe come back in the Seattle game with at least closer to a full assortment of personnel than you've had in a week or two.
Yeah, and it's with Barch getting him back because AJ is still on IR, that will be big, and hopefully he gets back from the concussion protocol. I guess that's what he was in.
That's right.
With the bye week, he should be fine, or at least you hope he's fine. Tyson coming back from the toe. I think that's going to be interesting because
it looked like a struggle the last few weeks.
Yeah, because they kind of warmed him up a little bit before. Yeah. I'm not sure what they did.
Game, right?
It was the.
He warmed up for the Cincinnati.
No, it was
game.
at home. It was a home game. I'm trying to think of the home game.
Cardinals?
No.
Anyway.
It was the home game right before London. Who was that against?
Tennessee.
The Tennessee game. He went out there and warmed up. And they were kind of checking in, and he did not look anywhere near ready to go. And then I don't know how that worked. Did they leave him home? Did he even travel to London? I'm not sure. But he was inactive for that game. And so you got to be careful with a toe or a foot with a guy that who makes a living running the ball or running a lot and chasing the ball. And there's ways to do that. They actually a couple different things that they can do to help a toe. And I don't know if it's turf toe or whatever, but to help feet and toes overall, they put metal plates in your shoe. If it's like a toe, they'll use like what they call a half a plate. So the front half of your shoe will have like a little metal plate under the insole. And so what that does is it kind of restricts the amount of bending that's happening with the toes. And then
how do you even run around like that though?
You would be. I mean, it still has a little flexibility. It just doesn't make the shoe like
twist and
super
turn.
Flexible.
Yeah, I got you. Yeah.
And then if and in some cases guys wear what they call a full little metal plate insole, which goes all the way from the toe to the heel, which it's like I said, it still has some flexibility, but it just stiffens up the whole foot area. So. And I'm sure that'd be a combination of that and then taping the toe to support it or whatever I'm sure that they will try to do. But you got to be careful with that because if you keep agitating it, then it's going to be something that can be, I don't want to say chronic to where it's an issue every week, but it could be a problem that lasts. So you want to make sure you get you want to get it behind you.
Yeah, anything with your feet, you're running around the whole game. You can't have bad feet and run around.
No.
I know that's a deep thought.
Well, it's a real deep thought, but but you're right.
Sense.
I mean, look, there's a lot of things that you would rather hurt as a football player other than something on your foot.
Yeah,
because seriously, you
can't do anything.
Well, and here's the thing: if you want to rest it, what do? I mean, you have to walk, you have to stand. I mean, it's kind of hard for like a shoulder. Okay, I'm just going to not do anything with my shoulder for a day or two. Okay, that's fine. Well, guess what? With a foot. If you're walking, you are putting pressure and stressing that foot, that injured area. So
I was right.
Yeah, I can tell you that in my career, one of the worst ones that I ever had was two of them. One was a Liz Frank, and the other one was plantar fasciitis. And I mean, it's like crippling, and it's incredibly hard to be able to play the game when your feet are not feeling good. I can tell you that. Shoulders and all that other stuff, I can find ways to fight through it. But when your dogs are barking, it's hard.
Bow wow. Let's get to the AFC South results from this past weekend. Of course, the Jaguars were off. The Titans hammered the Chiefs. And, I mean, dominated the Chiefs. 27-3 was the final. Derrick Henry had a touchdown pass in the game. They call it the king cat play.
Who has more giveaways in the National Football League more than the Jaguars?
That would be the Chiefs.
That's exactly right.
The Cardinals destroyed the Texans 31-5, and that's the first time that score has ever been scored in the NFL in any game. 31-5. Cardinals outgained them 397-160.
Yeah, Texans are a mess, and it's a shame you lost to them in Week 1.
It is. Colts over the 49ers 30-18. Taylor had a big day rushing over 100 yards, a touchdown. Pittman receiving over 100 and a touchdown.
Well, and Carson Wentz is playing better. I mean, that's probably the big story there. I mean, Carson Wentz was, first of all, gets traded out of Philadelphia after given a long-term contract. Many people thought that this was the next great quarterback in the league now. Mm-hmm. He was a legitimate MVP candidate a few years ago.
He was good.
And then he got hurt,
yes, he
and then didn't play in the Super Bowl. And, of course, Nick Foles wins the Super Bowl, and then it was kind of all downhill from that point for Carson Wentz. And so he goes to Indianapolis with Frank Reich to resurrect his career, and he gets hurt there. And can he play? Well, he does, and he actually looked better on Sunday night. I don't want to say he looked great, but he looked better. So – all right. Can he resurrect his career and get back to where he was at? I don't know if he can or not, but he's playing better than he did in Philadelphia.
Let's take a look now at the AFC South standings after all of that action in week number 7. And, of course, it's Tennessee's division right now. They're 5-2, 2-0 in the division. Indy 3-4. Jacksonville now out of the cellar logs. They're third place, 1-5, a half game better now than Houston at 1-6.
Well, that's just because they.
I know why it is, but hey, don't just look, just enjoy it. Okay. It's okay. It doesn't matter how. Now you just got to stay there and keep moving up.
Well, you hope, but I'm not so sorry to be Debbie Downer, but I was just pointing
Your glass
out
is half empty
that
right
there
now.
are 6 games played by this team, and everybody else in the division has played 7. Because there are some people probably going, "How in the world can the Jaguars be third in the division when they don't have a division win?" And the Texans do.
They have one extra loss than the Jags. That's
the reason why. Because
you're
the
just
Jaguars
throwing dirt on top of the Jags, Logs.
No,
That's what it sounds like to
no,
me.
I don't do that to my team.
Let's take a look at the upcoming schedules in the AFC South the next 5 weeks or so. Let's see. We got a couple of games against the Rams. Buffalo's in there a couple times against teams. The Jaguars are at Seattle, Buffalo at home, at Indy, San Francisco, and Atlanta.
Real quick, focus on the Jaguars schedule. Okay, Seattle has a quarterback situation that's not good. They're not playing good football on offense. That's a totally winnable game. Buffalo's very good, though. And then their place will be tough. Indianapolis is playing good football. San Francisco, there's some question marks in San Francisco now. And the Atlanta Falcons they got a great tight end, by the way, who is amazing.
He's fantastic.
Kyle Pitts.
No wonder.
But overall as a team, they're not great. But that tight end is really good.
Yes, he is.
Really good. And he's wearing a number 8, and he looks like a wide receiver.
Yeah, well, yes.
Kyle Pitts
he's fantastic. There's a reason why he's the highest drafted tight end ever
in
league history.
He's fun to watch. I can tell you that will be a great challenge to cover him, and it's interesting to see how people treat him. How do you cover him? Do you cover him with a linebacker? You can, unless you got a linebacker that can run legitimate 4-4-4-5.
I want to put a couple of guys on him.
Okay, so what do you put a defensive back on him? I mean, so that's going to be a challenge for any team that faces the Atlanta Falcons. The Texans, not a good football team. It doesn't really matter who's on their schedule. They're going to struggle with anybody.
Yep.
The Colts, a good football team, and they're going to have this a great division matchup coming up this weekend. Tennessee at Indianapolis. That's a very good game. The Jets, not great. And then they got the Jaguars, Indianapolis, Buffalo, Tampa Bay. That's a loss right there. And Tennessee has the New England Patriots, Houston. Those are 2 winnable games, young quarterback situations. Saints, Rams, and the Colts. So it'd be pretty good. We'll see what happens. We shall see. But this week is a winnable game in Seattle.
I like that. We'll come back in a moment and see what the head coach thinks about it. Head coach Urban Meyer coming up next. The Urban Meyer Show right around the corner. This has been Jaguars Happy Hour on the Jaguars Hard Rock Sportsbook Digital Network.
own this thing. It's ours. Come on, let's go. Duval County and 904, let's own this stadium. Make it ours.
Welcome to the Urban Meyer Show. Urban Meyer Show. Former Jaguar Jeff Lageman and JP Shadrick discuss the latest Jaguars news with the head coach. The Urban Meyer Show starts right now.
Welcome into the Urban Meyer Show. JP Shadrick with Jaguars analyst Jeff Lageman and Jaguars head coach Urban Meyer coming off the bye week, heading into week number 8. The Jags and the Seattle Seahawks coming up at Lumen Field in downtown Seattle, Washington. Well, Coach, first off, bye weekend is done. You gave the players a number of days off to get refreshed, a little additional work for the Jags coaching staff. What did you get accomplished during the bye week?
Well, I've been asked for 20 years, when's the right time for a bye week? And the answer is whenever it happens. You have no choice over that. And it did come at the right time. We had, you got a lot of decisions to make on bye weeks. What do you do with the team? And we have so much work ahead of us that we worked. And our players, it's amazing what a win does. It's amazing when you think that there's guys in that locker room that's the first one in 20 swings at it. And what a win does for everybody is amazing. And, certainly the coaches, but more importantly the players. They came out to work, and we also did a lot of self-scout where what's good, what's bad. You finally got to take a deep breath and let's build on what's good and let's fix what's bad or get away from it. And that's what we did. So it was very productive. We went out yesterday and worked. The one thing we do is, and I admire our players for it. I'm not sure what everybody else does. I've heard different themes of off weeks, but we went to work, and the attitudes were off the chain. And you get Miles Jack back, you get having a guy like that, your leader, back, you get Barsh back. Everybody should be healthy, ready to go, and Tyson Campbell as well. So it was very, very positive.
Which might be one of the great benefits of the bye week when it happens, is getting guys back. And I know that you use the term deep dive as far as researching and analyzing your own football team. What did you learn as part of that process?
Well, I don't want to give out too much, but I learned, here's a quarterback that started off with a new system, and it took a minute, and he's very productive here the last 3-4 weeks, 3 weeks in particular, and he played his best game against the Dolphins, and you saw it as well as the NFL saw, complete those last 2 passes to go win a game. And so I can't be more pleased with his progress, who he is as a leader. There's 2 strengths right now, and that is our yards per carry is in the top 5 in the NFL. I think it's 5, might be 6. And then also we're in the top 5, 6, I believe, in the NFL as far as keeping our quarterback upright, keeping people off our quarterback. So those are 2 positives on offense. Defense, we're very good against the rush, and we're not very good against pass. So we're making some adjustments, and those are rather obvious. But there's other intricacies involved with that we were able to dive into.
Some of the improvements that you referred to with your young quarterback, and I'll refer to some numbers here, is completion percentage. If you compare the first 3 weeks with the second 3 weeks of the 6-week season so far, he's been up 12 percentage points there. Yards per attempt is up 2.4. His rating is up 33.5 points. I mean, those are staggering numbers for a young player to make that significant of a jump that early on in his career.
Well, you're watching, Jeff, and you know this much more than I do with your experience, that the college quarterbacks come to the NFL, and it's a struggle for most of the time. Of course, there's the outliers that really do well, but this year's group, Trevor, you have Zach Wilson, you have Trey Lance, you have the coach Mac Jones. There's another one. But you see these guys, and they struggle, and then Trevor really did struggle. It was very new to him, and now you see the comfort level. He has 2 quarterback coaches with Bev and Schottenheimer, I believe, have done a very good job. It's also, we have to force him to be an NFL quarterback because that's going to be great for his career, but we also want to win games, and how do you do that? Sometimes you have to become uncomfortable as the play caller and do what he does well, and that's what I think I'm seeing some positive returns from that.
Yeah, and I think that you allude to something there that I always thought was very interesting, with how you guys would kind of manage a young quarterback. He's a young man that at Clemson he had 231 rushes, and the read option was a big part of the offense, and he ran the ball a lot, and that's what made him kind of the threat that he was at Clemson. But you've kind of resisted some of that, and probably for good reason, because he's going to stay healthier the more he stays in the pocket. And I just find it very interesting that he's made that big of a jump by not having that comfort zone of the rushing attack to help him along.
Yeah, that was always a little bit of in my hip pocket that, he's especially if you're a good runner back there, which Trevor's not a good runner, excellent runner. But it's also, this is about his longevity. This is about building an organization around him, which we're committed to, and we're doing the right things. Now we got to play a little better pass defense. We got to be much better on third downs and much better in red zone. That's what we found out. And now we're going to go to work and fixing those things.
Head coach Urban Meyer with us. Earlier this week, you talked about the reps in practice and needing to really maximize the efficiency of practice reps. Was that something as the weeks have gone on in the regular season, okay, we really need to streamline certain things in practice, or is that something you looked at during the bye week and focused on?
Well, this is really interesting here that you have just quality people, really quality people, as good as I've had in the organizations who have leadership meetings, not quite once a week, but about once a week. And after our deep dive that we did, you find out you have 8 drops and you have 9 penalties on third downs. Those are 17 hits that if we can go from near the bottom of the NFL to near the top, and more importantly win games, if you just execute those. And so my appeal to our leaders on the team is we can't extend practice. You're getting into week 8 and then you got 11 straight. Just can't do that to the bodies and get them ready to go on Sunday. So the urgency, we can't have a penalty during practice. We can't allow that. And it's really not, it's when the leaders of the team own it about no penalties or no drops. That's my appeal to them, saying for us to win those games. I think we would have won 1 or 2 more games if we would have just not dropped the ball and not have penalties. That's not a talent issue. That's just a focus issue.
I think it's interesting that you bring that up because, third down, that's an area that offensively, that's a big area that I'm sure you're focusing in on to improve, and that kind of goes into, okay, also if we convert more third downs, we can get more carries for James Robinson, we can wear out the opponent more, we can keep our defense on the sideline more. I'm sure that is one of the big focuses for you guys moving forward.
Well, all the above, and it's also, the way I look at it, it's a turnover. When you drop a third down pass or you go from 3rd and 2 to 3rd and 7 because someone twitches in the O-line or a tight end, et cetera, to me, and you don't execute that third down, that's a turnover. Your defense is jogging on the field. And when we say play great defense is all units on the team. The offensive line doing their job, the receivers making the play, Trevor making the play, and special teams making their play. So it all is intermingled. And when we play well, when we win, it's because you're executing those big plays.
Urban will come back in just a moment and get a little deeper into the offensive play, especially in the offensive line. We're off and running. It's the Urban Meyer Show on the Jaguars Radio Network.
Jaguars fans, here's a great way to pay with pride wherever you go. Exclusively from TIAA Bank, the Jacksonville Jaguars Visa debit card comes with a fierce look and fantastic features, along with the convenience to make purchases online or at millions of locations worldwide. And it's yours, free, when you open a Yield Pledge checking account. Order yours today. Visit TIAABank.com/JagsCard. TIAA Bank is a division of TIAA, FSB, member FDIC, and the official bank of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Yingling Traditional Lager. The beer for drinkers who know how to tap into their inner eagle and spread their wings. So prepare yourself for takeoff and let your night take flight.
Liftoff.
When your lips meet that cold, crisp amber lager, there's no looking back. So fly over the radar. Tonight's about the lager, and this lager is all about soaring higher. Yingling Traditional Lager. Spread your wings. DJ Yingling & Son, Pottsville, Pennsylvania. Please drink responsibly.
I'm Chantel Chark, wife of DJ Chark. My husband is always prepared with a game day plan, and so am I. I'm always looking for easy ways to save time, and Publix helps me tackle everything from pre-game prep to post-game cleanup with prices that are never out of bounds.
This week at Publix, assorted varieties and sizes of Crest toothpaste are 2 for $6.
Available at Publix, where shopping is a pleasure.
Any repeated physical activity puts stress on the body. Checking your phone, getting in the car, sitting at your desk, checking the phone, getting in your car, sitting at your desk, checking your phone for the 50th time today. If you do anything with regularity, you should get massaged with regularity. Massage Envy. Keep your body working.
Regular body work makes the body work with massage, skincare, and stretch. Come in today for more information or visit massageenvy.com for more details.
Welcome back. The Urban Meyer Show continues along the Jaguars Radio Network.
Jaguars Game Day broadcasts are presented by ViStar Credit Union. The Urban Meyer Show continues. JP Shadrick with Jeff Lageman and Jaguars head coach Urban Meyer heading into the Week 8 matchup at Lumen Field, Seattle against the Seahawks. Offensive line. We know a couple of those names that are on IR right now. Linder, Can. First off, what is there an updated timetable for those guys? And secondly, the group that jumped in there 2 weeks ago now, how do they play in their place?
Well, Barch went in the game, and he's been very solid to replace A.J. Can. A.J. Can, I believe, is out for the season, and Linder should be back. You know, it's all now. He had an MCL sprain, and he had a high ankle sprain, and we're waiting on the high ankle. I just saw him in the training room just now, so I'm very hopeful to get him back pretty soon. But at one point when Barch went down, he had to go to concussion protocol. We had 3 starters out in the offensive line, and after studying the NFL and being in the NFL, usually that's you're not going to win when you're down 3 offensive linemen. And Will Richardson did a very good job going in there. Did not play great, but played pretty good. He's been our I consider one of the most improved players on our team. He's a swing tackle, and he's also a swing guard. Walker Little's making much improvement as well. So our offensive line, like I told you. You know, when you invest in a player like Trevor, keep him upright, which we're one of the top teams, I think it's 5 or 6 in the NFL as far as hits on our quarterback, and then rushing yard per carry. You know, we're in the top 5, top 6 in the league.
Yeah, number 2, I think, in the National Football League in yards per rush at 5.18, and your offensive line has done a good job. Tyler Shatley, I'm sure you're loving having him as a backup. He's one of those guys that you just love to have on your roster, and part of that protection that has happened for Trevor is also Trevor. He has, Urban, in my opinion, just this innate ability to feel it in the pocket without actually looking at it, and that truly is a rare trait.
It is, and it's also he's got the size where he doesn't panic on the that where and Jeff, you understand what I'm talking about, where if you can't see, I've had the smaller quarterbacks, and I tell him he's amongst the trees, and you can't, you have a 6'1" quarterback, 6'7", 6'6" tackles, and it's science tells you can't see, and then what do? They start to bail. That's when you get holding penalties, and that's when you get sacks. He hangs in the pocket when he should. And he also escapes the pocket when he has to. So that's one, for a young player, 22-year-old quarterback, that's obviously something he's done very well.
One of the things I noticed from the London game, from watching the film, is that he's done a really good job of what we call off-schedule plays. He's getting out of the pocket, and a lot of times when it becomes off-schedule, the receivers are working to get open. And some of the throws that he had when these plays became off schedule, the wide receivers are kind of sitting and waiting for the ball at times when they should be coming back towards the ball and keeping the window open for the quarterback. Is that something that has been talked about coming back, attacking the ball?
It has, and it's something we're working. Yesterday we had practice, and we had 3 or 4 scripted scrambles, and that was where the quarterback, no one knows other than the quarterback. You take the drop, and then, they tell the guy, coach tells the quarterback before the play, scramble on this one. And you just work it and teach it off of film, and, we should be better at that.
Yeah, it's part of that time on task, too. A guy like Jamal Agnew hasn't played the position that long, right? I mean, that's something you have to go out and play to really learn. And you talked earlier this week about Agnew's progress at the position and what he could bring to your offense.
Yeah, boy, he's when you look at it, the history books of him, when DJ Shark went down, we were not in a good place. And Aggs is a guy that it was almost second nature, because we went after Aggs because of his return capability. But he was a corner, and he's become a very viable wide receiver. He catches in traffic. He's a little man that plays big, and he's fast.
who recognized him as being a potential offensive player? Because, I mean, here's a guy wearing a 30s number. Most people probably thought he was a running back. Who's the one that said, hey, you know what? We should maybe put him on the offensive side of the ball.
I thought you did, Jeff.
No, it was not me.
It was Bevel. It was Bevel, and then obviously Sanjay is an excellent fundamental coach and has worked really hard with him. But when we signed him, they took him at Detroit because Detroit had some injury issues, a wide receiver, and here's a guy that played corner in college, a small school, San Diego, and he's much better, much improved than he was even in the spring.
Head coach Urban Meyer with us. Let's flip over to the defensive side a little bit now, Urban. And you mentioned it just a minute ago. Stopping the run has been really, I think, the high point of this defense so far in the season. You got to maintain it. 11 games to go, though. That can be a week-to-week statistic in the NFL.
It certainly can, and but that's been consistent for us. What's been inconsistent is the combination of man and zone, where we jump underneath and they're thrown to the top. So we've worked diligently on that. We're good at third and fourth and short, and we're good in third and fourth and long. What we're not good at is where a lot of the money's made, and that's third and medium, and that's so we're working a lot on what our players can do. You went into the year with thinking you could play a ton of man coverage, and we found out we really couldn't. And so the combination of both is what we're working on now.
One thing that significantly improved in London was third-quarter defense. And then the third-quarter point differential was way out of whack prior to that game. Your defense gets a third-quarter shutout. You score 7 points. You end up +7 in the third quarter in London, and that obviously had a lot to do with winning the football game. That's certainly a trend you want to keep going.
Lou Holtz used to always say that the last 5 minutes of the first half, first 5 minutes of the second half really decides the game. And you look at the series, what happened, and going back to London, we stopped them on defense. Oh, no, we got stopped on offense, and I made the decision. Almost went for it, but it was fourth and long. We were right outside field goal range. Our punter's tremendous. We downed it on the 2-yard line. They throw the ball, then we burn 2 timeouts. They punt, we get the ball on the 49-yard line, and in a few plays we score a touchdown and go in with 7 points. And then we come out the second half, score on the first drive. This is a 14-point swing, all because we downed that ball on the 2-yard line.
You almost went for it.
Yeah, I almost went for it, but it was fourth and long.
Yeah, okay, that's all right. It worked out. I like the mindset and the just talking through it there. Let's come back in a moment. We'll look ahead to the Jaguars and the Seattle Seahawks coming up in week number 8. This is the Urban Meyer Show on Jaguars Radio.
On the road, there's a thin line between safety and tragedy. Don't cross it. Give law enforcement, first responders, and service professionals the space to safely do their jobs. When you see flashing lights, move over a lane or slow down 20 miles per hour below the posted speed limit. See lights? Move over, Florida. Brought to you by the Florida Department of Highway Safety and Motor Vehicles and the Florida Highway Patrol.
Scrubbing soon to a location near you. You know and love the Scrubble Stars at the Town Center, Fleming Island, and Atlantic Beach. Now get ready for 4 new locations scrubbing soon this year, featuring Kernan, San Jose, Racetrack Road, and Oakleaf. Give your car the glitz and glam it deserves at the best car wash in town with free car prep, vacuums, window cleaner, and more. You can also catch us at every Jags home game and cool down at the Scrubby's Misting Arch. Drive in to see us now and in the future at our scrubbing soon locations. Scrubbles, trust the bow tie. You'll know quality once you arrive.
Jaguars fans, Corona Extra is giving you the chance to win big. Be one of 3 winners to receive a VIP game day experience complete with limo transportation, a Jacksonville staycation, and tickets to the Jaguars home game Sunday, November 28th. Enter for your chance to win at jaguars.com/Corona. Must be 21 years of age or older. See full rules for details. Please drink responsibly. Corona Extra Beer, imported by Crown Imports, Chicago, Illinois.
We paid how much for those lessons?
Shh. She's doing great.
Oh, yeah, totally. Can you pass me a Pepsi Zero Sugar? Great job, honey! Oh, look at that. That's not the end.
No way. Now it's time for the encore.
You know what? You're right. 5 times? Not enough times.
For everyone who traded in rock concerts for their kids' recitals, you've compromised enough. Pepsi Zero Sugar. That's what I like.
Welcome back. The Urban Meyer Show continues along the Jaguars Radio Network.
Welcome back. The Urban Meyer Show rolls along. JP Shadrick with Jeff Lageman and Jaguars head coach Urban Meyer. The Jags are headed to Seattle, leaving on Friday, Coach. A little early trip out to the West Coast to see Lumen Field and a rowdy environment. You have coached in rowdy environments before. We all know that. But a little louder environment than most in the NFL out in Seattle, and a challenge for the Jaguars this week in terms of the trip, first of all, and then the noise and the environment. Oh, yeah, and the Seahawks have a pretty good football team, too.
Yeah, they lost last night to the Saints, but you watch them, and defensively statistics, they're not great, but you watch them, and they're big, they're gigantic in the defensive line, and they have one of the best safeties in Adams and a great linebacker, and so you just don't quite see the issues on defense. So, but that'll be a challenge. But I've never been in the stadium, but people have told me it's arguably the loudest or one of the top 2 or 3 stadiums in the NFL. The fans are great, and obviously the Seahawks are going to be without Russell Wilson, and Geno is going to be the quarterback, and they have 2 we call them blue players or elite players, the 2 receivers with DK and I'm sorry, I forget the other guy's name.
Lockett.
Tyler Lockett, tremendous player. So they have some struggles, but they're also very talented.
How odd was it that you got a bye week, which in college football you don't always get the ability as you're heading into a week of planning, et cetera, to be able to turn on the TV and watch the team you're getting ready to play on Monday Night Football. So did you watch them, and do you have a watch party with the coaches to digest the information that you may hear on the TV?
Well, we game planned last night. We were all here, and we turned it on in the corner, and of course you saw the rain, and then all of a sudden I see DK Metcalf take it 85 yards. So I went over and stared at it for a while. Then I went home, and Jeff, the guy's mine and your age, you start falling asleep about 10 o'clock. So I got to see the rest early, 5:30 in the morning.
Yeah, I'm with you. About halftime is all I'm good for on Monday Night Football anymore. If I lived on the West Coast, I'd probably be better off. Over the weekend, though, you had mentioned, or yesterday, I guess, in your press conference, that you watched a little football over the weekend. NFL, college football, what'd you watch?
Well, it's the first time really in my career, and I had a little team meeting, and I told them with a passion I watched the NFL. I've always watched the NFL, but more to watch my former players play. And, I text with them all the time. And so I would always be game planning in college because Sunday's your game plan day. And I would always have the TV on watching, not necessarily with a passion like I do now. And I watched everything I could get my hands on. And I just feel we're so close. That's where I have such admiration for, the guys that are just keep swinging in our locker room. And, I'm not sure I've ever wanted something as bad for an owner and for an area and for a group of players than to get this thing going. You hear people take a shot at Jacksonville. You hear, you watch our guys play, and I mean, we had arguably one of the best teams in the NFL right now, Phoenix Cardinals, and our guys played their tails off. We just got to be smart with the ball. We had Cincinnati down 14-0, and they just beat the heck out of Baltimore. So there's a lot of positives, a lot of momentum. We just got to eliminate self-inflicted errors and stick together.
When you watch these games, can you watch it ever as a true fan, or do you always have that coach's mind where you're watching it going, they busted the coverage on that one. The corner should have done this, or the safety should have done that?
I've tailgated twice, once for my son's high school game, and that was awful because I don't enjoy myself. All I'm thinking about is the game, and I did one for a University of Florida Miami game. They invited us down to Orlando, Shelley and I, and we went to that, and I was like, I see all these people, enjoying themselves. I'm like, man, how can you do this? This game's getting ready to start. I'm used to smashing your face in the locker at the, getting ready to go coach a game or play a game. So it's hard to enjoy it, to answer your question.
Yeah, no, I totally get it, because sometimes when I watch the game, I'm watching it from an X's and O's standpoint and watching the defensive ends and tackles. And
people are talking, and you're like, guys, listen.
Can you just be quiet? Like when I watch a Super Bowl, I can't be at a Super Bowl party. I'm like, just let me have my TV and leave me alone.
Keep it down. All right, so Urban, you got 11 consecutive weeks of football ahead. It is a marathon to wrap up the season, but the trend was going up with this team before the bye week. That's a good sign for the next couple months ahead.
Yeah, it's a good sign that, first of all, once I brag about our locker room, because I'm impressed and I'm proud of these guys, that they just keep sticking together. We won that game in London, and it was, you reach the point where you do this so long, all they did is stare at these players' eyes and faces, and the guys had been through a lot. and to win that game. Now, you got to build on it. The reality is we got a bunch of tough games coming up against some really good teams, but also reality is we got to stay healthy, and that's one of the big things I wanted to bring here is the sports performance model. We've had, knock on wood, we've had injuries, but those are structural. Structural injuries are unavoidable. That's what makes the game so tough. You know, the high ankle sprains, the AC sprains, those are, you can't stop. But the soft tissue injuries, if we take care of our players down this stretch, we got to stay healthy, and I think we will.
Well, after coming off of the win in London, what was the first thing you said to your team to kind of get them back out of that bye week mindset? Because sometimes players, when they have that bye week, I don't want to say they get lax, but sometimes their mind can drift a little bit, but now it's time to refocus.
Yeah, and the reality is that we got a long way to go. And I also shared with them where we're not very good. And the good thing about having, they're grown, Miles Jack and Cam Robinson and James Robinson and Marvin Jones, these guys are grown men. And Trevor's 22, but he's a grown man. And explain, it's really neat to coach players that you can have a dialogue with them. This was not me barking at them. It was me saying, here's where we need to work. I need your help in this area for us to be successful. And it was verbatim when I would let them break the team down. That's exactly what was said, and that's what's being done in practice. And I'm really going to push them hard this week about not longer practice. You can't do that, but efficiency of practice. No mistakes. Lock in.
Urban, thanks for the time as always. We'll talk to you later in the week.
Thank you.
Head coach Urban Meyer with us. Back with more on the Urban Meyer Show on the Jaguars Radio Network.
Jaguars fans, here's a great way to pay with pride wherever you go. Exclusively from TIAA Bank, the Jacksonville Jaguars Visa debit card comes with a fierce look and fantastic features, along with the convenience to make purchases online or at millions of locations worldwide. And it's yours, free, when you open a Yield Pledge checking account. Order yours today. Visit TIAABank.com/JagsCard. TIAA Bank is a division of TIAA, FSB, member FDIC, and the official bank of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
We paid how much for those lessons?
Shh, she's doing great.
Oh, yeah, totally. Can you pass me a Pepsi Zero Sugar? Great job, honey! Oh, look at that. That's not the end.
No way. Now it's time for the encore.
You know what? You're right. 5 times? Not enough times.
For everyone who traded in rock concerts for their kids' recitals, you've compromised enough. Pepsi Zero Sugar. That's what I like.
Pinpoint, the official signage partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars, helps business decision makers like you maximize the impact of their brand. Your company's identification, advertising, and even the words you use make an impression on your clients. With Pinpoint as your coach, you can make sure it's a good impression. Pinpoint provides the creative design and production services for anything you need to enhance your brand, from custom signage to complete marketing solutions. Step up your game with Pinpoint and create the ultimate brand experience for your clients. Visit experiencepinpoint.com.
Great teams leave it all on the field. But with the powerful towing and payload that Ford F-150 delivers, you can take it all with you, too. No wonder Ford F-Series is America's best-selling truck 44 years straight. The 2021 Ford F-150. Built for greatness. Visit your local Ford dealer or buyfordnow.com. Based on 1977 to 2020 calendar year total sales.
Welcome back. The Urban Meyer Show continues along the Jaguars Radio Network.
Welcome back to the Urban Meyer Show. Rolling along, JP Shadrick, Jeff Lageman, head coach Urban Meyer joining us in the first half hour every week. Lock in, he said at the end there. Lock in. Get those practice reps down. Don't be losing any practice reps, and then there's not a lot of time for that. You make mistakes in practice, you're going to make them in the game.
Well,
lock in, Logs.
And the question I had there about trying to get a team kind of back into that groove, because when you're in the season, you get into that mindset of a routine, and then when you have a bye week, all of a sudden that routine's interrupted, and so you want to be able to make sure that the focus goes back again into the routine, and to get the players focused and ready to go again, because it is different. literally you're locked in, and then all of a sudden, okay, I got a bye week. What do I do? And then you do something different for a bit. And so now you like come back and you go, okay, well, what was this? Monday again? I gotta do this. So, and it's good. The best part about the bye week too is that when you come back physically, you feel a lot better.
Oh yeah.
You just even though it's only
that's just broadcasters too.
A week off, it's great, and the body can do amazing things with a week off in the NFL.
Yeah. That's broadcasters as well.
Oh, so your voice has gotten better.
I don't know about
a week
that,
off.
but I don't know if my habits. But you never know. So
West Coast traveling is going to be interesting though, because it's kind of a short week as far as the travel goes.
You go from London to here by a week to Seattle. I mean, that's too long.
And then you've
trips.
got
and going on Friday to Seattle too.
Well, and then you've got an LA trip coming up.
A couple weeks. It's a little ways down the line. About a month and a half away.
Somewhere down the line, and Seattle's a poke now.
That's as far as you can get, really, in the Continental.
Is Miami to Seattle the longest trip in the NFL?
Well, outside of the London games, yes.
Yeah, that's what I figured.
That's right.
Man, that's a long way. Whew. Are you? Would you rather go out on a Friday or would you rather go out on a Saturday? This has always been an interesting debate.
I know, right? And I think the Jags have done it both ways before.
This team has done it many different times.
Yeah.
And
for me, it's just keep it normal, keep the routine, go Saturday, be there and wake up and do the thing. And
that's what I like. I've never.
That's just me.
Early on, when I say early on in the Jaguars' history, Coughlin had the mindset that he wanted to go on Fridays, and we go out there on a Friday and we do a practice out there, and I hated it. Because again, we're creatures of habit. The players are creatures of habit. Okay, Monday is your day. You do game study and film review, and you work out. Tuesday's your day off. Wednesday's your heavy day of practice. Thursday's another, semi-heavy day of practice. Friday's a very light day, and we're all done early. Everybody goes home, relax, get rest, spend time with the family. Okay, Saturday, home game, we go to the hotel to stay that afternoon. If it's a road game, we get on a plane and go. Well, now all of a sudden you decide to leave on a Friday, and look, and everybody's had success different ways. But,
sure they have.
But you leave now on a Friday, it's just different. And I always liked it to where you go on a Saturday just because it keeps the same routine for every game. So, I mean, why should you change it just because you're traveling to the West Coast? I mean, so you're on a plane longer. But, I mean, maybe they've done, and maybe there are studies that show that it's better to acclimate. And see, I've always been a believer. I don't want to acclimate going to the West Coast because it's just too short of a time to acclimate. It's like London. When we first went over there, it was, I want to say we left right after the game on a Sunday.
The second, that was in Cincinnati. It was the second year. And the first year we left on Monday, got there Tuesday.
Yeah.
Right, from a home game. The next year was a road game, left after the game Sunday, got there Monday.
Right, and I didn't like either one of them. And then all of a sudden they decided to change it to leave on a Thursday. So now you get there and you just, it's real quick. And then it's game time. Yeah. It was better just because at least it kept the first part of the week. The routine, it kept it the same.
You know what can overcome a lot of that?
Well, great players,
a really good football team. That's right.
Well, I mean, I'm not saying that from the standpoint of what's going to help have a team have success or not. I'm just saying, with a team, will they play better or will they play worse if they travel on a Friday or will they travel on a Saturday? And I don't know if there's
you could travel on Tuesday if you wanted to. If you have a better football team, it can travel. No matter the circumstance.
And you're exactly right. But for me personally, when I was playing, I wanted to travel on Saturday. I did not want the extra day to go out there and then because you go out there and here's what I always kind of found is that you travel on a Friday and now you've got time on your hands in a place that what are you going to do?
Well, I mean, there's plenty to do.
And
in
I
Seattle.
was always worried that because there's always a guy. That just finds trouble.
You were never that guy, though.
I know.
Oh, of course. You were, in bed at 9 o'clock,
I wasn't
Don't
in
miss
bed
some
at 9
curfew.
o'clock. I mean, I was in bed at curfew. We had curfew check and all that kind of
all right,
stuff.
just making sure.
I just didn't want to have the distraction of somebody else getting involved in some kind of trouble.
Let's come back in a moment and get into the football team a little bit. A little offensive talk. The bye week, we'll talk about what Urban was saying about Trevor. He had a lot of glowing things to say about Trevor.
And rightly so. I mean, he is literally. This is fun to watch.
It's only just begun. 11 games to go this year.
When I say it's fun to watch, JP, we've never seen anything like it.
Let's get into it when we come back. It's the Urban Meyer Show on Jaguars Radio.
On the road, there's a thin line between safety and tragedy. Don't cross it. Give law enforcement, first responders, and service professionals the space to safely do their jobs. When you see flashing lights, move over a lane or slow down 20 miles per hour below the posted speed limit. See lights? Move over, Florida. Brought to you by the Florida Department of Highway Safety and Motor Vehicles and the Florida Highway Patrol.
Are you a Jags and a pet fanatic? Then enter for a chance to win your very own customized jersey and answer game day trivia live on the TIAA Bank Field video boards at an upcoming Jaguars home game and our Pet Fanatic of the Game sweepstakes presented by Pet Paradise. To enter, scan the QR code on the Sky Patio or go to jaguars.com/fanatic. Terms and conditions apply. No purchase necessary. Void where prohibited. Must be 18 or older and a legal resident of Florida or Georgia. Jags fans, did you know you can ride your bike to every Jaguars home game at TIAA Bank Field and Valley Park it for free? That's right. Stop by our bicycle check-in tent sponsored by Alert Today Florida near Gate 1 at TIAA Bank Field. An on-duty ZenCog bike professional will park your bike and ensure it's secure during the game. When the game is over, return your claim ticket to pick up your bike. For cycling safety tips, visit alerttodayflorida.com. Remember, Alert Today, alive tomorrow, because safety doesn't happen by accident.
At Tropical Smoothie Cafe, one taste and you're feeling good now, smiling wider now, seeing brighter now, bucket dunking now, namasteing now, popping a wheelie now, living lighter now. You're on Tropic Time now. And on Mondays, try our Jaguars Duval Delight Smoothies for $2.99. And you're roaring louder now, end zone dancing now, sipping spirit now. You're on Tropic Time now at Tropical Smoothie Cafe.
Welcome back. The Urban Meyer Show continues along the Jaguars Radio Network.
Welcome back, indeed. This is the Urban Meyer Show. I'm JP Shadrick, Jeff Lageman alongside, Joe Fortunato on the audio, Brent Reber on the video, head coach Urban Meyer in the first half hour every Tuesday. And we move to the offense. And Trevor Lawrence, the feeling, we heard Urban talk about it. You can tell as the weeks have gone along, the decisions are getting better. It feels like it just feels better. How much better is it statistically the last 2-3 weeks?
Well, as I explained with Urban there, the numbers don't lie, and I was just showing the improvement when I gave those numbers to Urban. I'm sure which he was aware of, but here are the numbers. In weeks 1 to 3, Trevor had 5 touchdowns, 7 interceptions.
Yes, it's not good.
And weeks 4 to 6, he had 2 touchdowns, 1 interception. So essentially what he did is he flipped the touchdown to interception ratio. Was obviously 2-to-1 interceptions plus, and then now it's 2-to-1 touchdown to interception. So that's big improvement. The completion percentage was 54.2% in weeks 1 to 3. Weeks 4 to 6, it was 66.3%.
66%, that's pretty good. Yeah.
Yards per attempt, which is a great measure of a quarterback's success because it measures the yards per attempt, not completion. In the first 3 games, it was 5.7 yards per attempt. In weeks 4 to 6, it was 8.1. So that's an improvement of 2.4 yards per attempt.
Okay, that's nice.
The quarterback rating.
Yes. Which is everything kind of combined into one.
It's a tricky little formula. In weeks 1 to 3, his rating was a 60.3, which is terrible.
It's not good.
Would be worst in the league.
Mm-hmm.
In the last 3 weeks, he was a 93.8, which is an improvement of 33.5 rating points.
Very nice. That's good.
I mean, that's what you want. I mean, are you going to see the same type of improvements in the next 3 games? I mean, it'd be
great.
If you did, it'd be amazing. It would be something that has never been seen before. But, I mean, you still want to have improvement. But I don't think you'll get it to that extent. But you still want the staircase effect of improvement statistically for Trevor Lawrence. But the thing I think that allows him to improve and the thing that has allowed him to improve the performance has been his ability to have pocket presence. I mean, that's what he was able to do against the Miami Dolphins in London was exceptional. I mean, that was as good of a display for a quarterback in pocket presence that I've ever seen. I mean, I'm talking
ever
seen. I mean,
like
seriously,
ever. Well, like forever.
All these superlatives, you know. Because you sound like the Willy Wonka thing, you know.
So that's a big statement, though. I mean, I can't just let that go by.
No, I'm not going to. I mean, you don't have to let it go by. I mean, I'm not saying it to draw attention to anything other than what he is doing is amazing.
Okay.
His pocket presence and his ability, because, you know, a lot of quarterbacks just give you a quick example. And this is what I showed last week on film. If you didn't miss it, we showed the film on Jaguars All Access, and we also showed it on Jaguars Weekend.
You're always good for a plug. I like this.
Well, because I'm just reiterating something that I've already shown. But if you missed it, there was a play that he's got an unblocked defender coming off of his backside, and he realizes that he's unblocked, but he doesn't have to turn his head to see it coming for sure. He just still his eyes are here downfield. Let me turn this way. His eyes are downfield here, and the unblocked guy is coming from here, and he senses it without looking and then turning and running. He reacts, and then he moves in the pocket to buy a few extra moments to get the ball off, and that's outstanding. There was another one where you've got an unblocked as he's looking down the field. There's an unblocked nickel blitzer, which we call. It can be called a bunch of different things. It could be just a fire zone, or it could be a blitz. But this guy's unblocked coming off the outside, so he sees him coming without turning his head again, and then knows that this guy is super fast and he's coming with a lot of speed. This is not a defensive end that's running 4.7 or something. This is a defensive back running 4.4.
Coming in hot.
So what do? You know you have to get on your horse and you got to go.
You better go.
And you got to go. And so he takes off and starts, literally hauling tail to get out of the pocket to the right to buy him some time to get an opportunity at the completion. And that's to gauge the speed of a defensive back, to know when I've got to leave and what rate of speed I have to leave with to be able to have an opportunity at making something happen. Those things are, you can't teach that stuff. It's and sometimes you can teach some of that, but for most of the time, for a quarterback, it's like a running back, and it's in the vision of a running back. Like the things that James Robinson does. I'm sorry, but look, you might have a great running backs coach, but that running backs coach didn't teach James Robinson
vision
and the ability to plant that foot and go.
Right.
Coaching matters, but coaching can't teach some of that stuff. And that's the stuff that players either have or they don't, and Trevor has that.
Well, Logs, we're going to get some answers on defense when we come back from you. I'm going to ask some questions.
You're going to ask me the hard questions?
We're going to get answers out of you.
The hard questions?
There's some hard questions on defense these days for this team.
I'll give you honest answers.
That's all we're looking for.
Okay. I got it. And me and my pens are ready.
This is the Urban Meyer Show on the Jaguars Radio Network.
Jaguars fans, here's a great way to pay with pride wherever you go. Exclusively from TIAA Bank, the Jacksonville Jaguars Visa debit card comes with a fierce look and fantastic features, along with the convenience to make purchases online or at millions of locations worldwide. And it's yours, free, when you open a Yield Pledge checking account. Order yours today. Visit TIAABank.com/JagsCard. TIAA Bank is a division of TIAA, FSB, member FDIC, and the official bank of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Great teams leave it all on the field. But with the powerful towing and payload that Ford F-150 delivers, you can take it all with you, too. No wonder Ford F-Series is America's best-selling truck 44 years straight. The 2021 Ford F-150, built for greatness. Visit your local Ford dealer or buyfordnow.com. Based on 1977 to 2020 calendar year total sales.
It's been around longer than your quarterback. When you put it on, everyone knows it's game time. So legendary, it deserves its own Hall of Fame. Members-only jackets. Undeniable quality and style for over 45 years. Scratch and claw your way over to membersonly.com. Get ready for football season with a jacket that can only be summed up in one word. Iconic. Use discount code Jaguars at checkout for 35% off on all iconic racer jackets. Members only. When you put it on, something happens.
Any repeated physical activity puts stress on the body. Checking your phone, getting in the car, sitting at your desk, checking the phone, getting in your car, sitting at your desk, checking your phone for the 50th time today. If you do anything with regularity, you should get massaged with regularity. Massage Envy. Keep your body working.
Regular body work makes the body work with massage, skincare, and stretch. Come in today for more information or visit massageenvy.com for more details.
I'm Chantel Chark, wife of DJ Chark. My husband is always prepared with a game day plan, and so am I. I'm always looking for easy ways to save time, and Publix helps me tackle everything from pre-game prep to post-game cleanup with prices that are never out of bounds.
This week at Publix, assorted varieties and sizes of Crest toothpaste are 2 for $6.
Available at Publix, where shopping is a pleasure.
Jaguars fans are gearing up and saving big at Fanatics.com. The world's largest collection of officially licensed fan gear from all the leagues, teams, and Jaguars players you love. Shop the most trusted brands, exclusive designs by Fanatics, and autographed collectibles from today's biggest stars. Join Fanatics Rewards today and earn fan cash on every purchase. Shop now and get today's special offer. Fanatics.com. Officially licensed everything.
Welcome back. The Urban Meyer Show continues along the Jaguars Radio Network.
Welcome back. JP Shadrick, Jeff Lageman, head coach Urban Meyer with us in the first half hour every Tuesday, 5 o'clock on the Jaguars Radio Network for the Urban Meyer Show. We look to the defense now, Logs, and Urban earlier this week was talking about all the look at the defense they've done in the bye week, and as the weeks have gone along, they've worked some more zone in there in the secondary. They were more man-heavy, if you will, earlier in the year. That seems to have shifted some, and Urban actually said that will change moving ahead. What will that actually look like on Sundays?
Well, it's the mix of zone and run. So, like, for example, the Baltimore Ravens, which is where Joe Cullen comes from most recently. He's been a lot of different places, but that's the scheme that he wanted to bring here. They play a ton of man, and they've got some pretty good corners that they can do that, and they have some good players up front, at least historically they have.
Yeah.
And so let's say, just to throw some numbers out there without being completely accurate, let's say that they would probably play or want to play, and this is Baltimore, somewhere in the range of 70% man, 30% zone. Well, the Jaguars, because of some of their personnel issues, they're probably flip-flopping on that. So they're probably end up playing 70% zone and maybe only 30% man. Because when you play man, if you have somebody mess up, it can be a big play. And when you play man, you got to have the guys that can cover. If you don't have the guys that can cover, it's very difficult to have success. And so
on the front end, you got to be able to get the quarterback too to help those guys.
Well,
out,
I mean
right?
that goes
Anyway,
that's
any
true
defense.
for zone or man or anything else. I mean, in reality, so that doesn't really matter. So, but you can give up bigger plays than man because other people aren't watching the ball at different parts of the field. So, and I think that's what it is. And why? Well, I mean, the numbers don't lie. They're 31st in the National Football League in passing yards passing yards per game allowed. The opposing quarterbacks are completing, and this will give you a little bit of an idea. They're allowing a 72.9% completion rate. Okay, what would that do?
Wow.
If you had that and you were a quarterback in the National Football League?
You're probably top of the league.
You would
Close
be in the
to
top.
it.
You would be in the top 3. Russell
Sure.
Wilson is completing 72% of his passes, and he is the 3rd-rated quarterback in the National Football League in completion percentage. So, I mean, that ought to give you an idea of why they're looking at trying to do something different besides play man, because right now they're not doing good enough. I think in coverage is the best way to put that. And the 3rd down percentage allowed is actually not great either. It's 24th, which will put you in the bottom 25% of the league, and right at at that part of the bottom 25% of the league. So I mean they're trying to find ways to get better. And if you continue to play man and you continue to have problems and MEs or MAs, missed assignment mental errors, then you allow big plays and you allow big yards.
Because the personnel is not going to dramatically change at this point, unless they go make some trade. We don't know. The deadline's next week, but in theory, that is an off-season expedition to go get some new players.
Correct.
But so now, if
but you
you're not
can
making
get
changes,
better from within.
Yeah.
I mean, you
guys can improve.
Yes. I mean,
Yes.
you can have Tyson Campbell get better.
Yeah.
You can have your veteran corner Shaq Griffin make the catches on possible interceptions.
That would help.
You can have Rayshon Jenkins make an interception. I mean, there's ways to get better without saying, okay, well, look, our hands up, we're waving the white flag.
Waiting for the draft.
We're not going to be any good this year. No, I mean, look, you can get guys better. You can scheme it up better. As coaches, you can understand what your players do better and better put them in a position to succeed. I mean, so there's ways to improve not only from the standpoint of improvement with them, but also the coaching aspect of it as well.
All right, Logs, we'll come back in just a moment and get into the Seattle Seahawks. Not the Seahawks we're used to seeing right now.
No, and they're not playing good football right now with Geno Smith, who I wouldn't have him as my backup quarterback.
Oh, my goodness. We'll have to delve into that when we return. This is the Urban Meyer Show on Jaguars Radio.
On the road, there's a thin line between safety and tragedy. Don't cross it. Give law enforcement, first responders, and service professionals the space to safely do their jobs. When you see flashing lights, move over a lane or slow down 20 miles per hour below the posted speed limit. See lights? Move over, Florida. Brought to you by the Florida Department of Highway Safety and Motor Vehicles and the Florida Highway Patrol.
Scrubbing soon to a location near you. You know and love the Scrubble Stars at the Town Center, Fleming Island, and Atlantic Beach. Now get ready for 4 new locations scrubbing soon this year, featuring Kernan, San Jose, Racetrack Road, and Oakleaf. Give your car the glitz and glam it deserves at the best car wash in town with free car prep, vacuums, window cleaner, and more. You can also catch us at every Jags home game and cool down at the Scrubbies Misting Arch. Drive in to see us now and in the future at our Scrubbing Soon locations. Scrubbles, trust the bow tie. You'll know quality once you arrive.
At VyStar Credit Union, you inspire us to deliver on our promise, to do good for our members and our communities. That's why we offer more banking options, like better rates and no hidden fees. We also give back, donating several $1 million to hundreds of nonprofits each year. Better financial lives, stronger communities. VyStar Credit Union. Do good. Bank better. Visit vystarcu.org/join. Insured by NCUA.
Jaguars fans, Corona Extra is giving you the chance to win big. Be one of 3 winners to receive a VIP game day experience complete with limo transportation, a Jacksonville staycation, and tickets to the Jaguars home game Sunday, November 28th. Enter for your chance to win at jaguars.com/Corona. Must be 21 years of age or older. See full rules for details. Please drink responsibly. Corona Extra Beer, imported by Crown Imports, Chicago, Illinois. Hard Rock Sportsbook is coming to Florida. Join the Seminole Tribe of Florida and Hard Rock for safe, trusted, and completely legal sports betting. Go to hardrocksportsbook.com to get all the latest details leading up to launch. Play remotely from anywhere in Florida, including on your phone or computer or in person at Seminole Casinos. Want great promotions like free bets, odds boosts, and bonuses? Hard Rock Sportsbook will have all your favorite bets and promotions. Hard Rock Sportsbook, the best place to be a Jaguars fan. Coming soon. Must be at least 21 and physically present in Florida to wager. Concerned about gambling? Please call 1-800-522-4700.
At Tropical Smoothie Cafe, one taste and you're feeling good now, smiling wider now, seeing brighter now, bucket dunking now, namasteing now, popping a wheelie now, living lighter now. You're on Tropic Time now. And on Mondays, try our Jaguars Duval Delight Smoothies for $2.99. And you're roaring louder now, end zone dancing now, sipping spirit now. You're on Tropic Time now at Tropical Smoothie Cafe.
Welcome back. The Urban Meyer Show continues along the Jaguars Radio Network.
Welcome back. Final moments of the Urban Meyer Show on this Tuesday, October 26th. Can't believe November's right around the corner. Next Urban Meyer Show will be November.
I'm all for a little bit of fall weather, JP.
Well, we had a hint of it around here, a week or two ago?
I'm not asking for a hint.
I'm asking for more than that, but it's getting warmer.
I'm asking for, fall weather. Is that too much to ask?
Apparently so.
I want to feel a little bit of that fall, cool, brisk air.
We might have to go north.
It's football season, JP.
It is.
Let's get it.
Yeah, put your order in. See what happens.
Let's get the jet stream to dip down and bring us some cool weather. Maybe a little bit of rain. Not a lot, just a little bit.
Rain?
A little bit. Just to knock the dust down.
Okay, thanks.
Clear the air. Filter the air. It's a good thing, JP.
Great. I'm with you on the cool off a little bit. It'll come. But November, the calendar changes, and here we go. Then, once January hits, it gets a little chilly here. It's a while away.
Chilly's a relative thing.
We got a ways to go. We got a ways to go literally through the air this week. The Jaguars Friday will fly to Seattle. 3,000 miles, just under 3,000 miles on that trip. And
it's a
long way, and it's a 4:05 kickoff, and it's a Seattle Seahawks team that is 2-5. They don't have their starting quarterback, and it is a different football team without Russell Wilson in there, obviously.
Let me give you some numbers on Russell Wilson. Okay, you think they miss him?
Yeah.
Third in the National Football League in completion percentage, first in rating points, 125. Completion percentage, I mentioned earlier, 72%.
Yep.
Interception percent. Number one in the National Football League, 0.8%.
Doesn't give it up.
And first in average gain per pass play at over 9 yards an attempt.
It's good.
You think they miss him?
Yes.
Pete Carroll came out and said, look, he wouldn't be coaching as long as he has been if it weren't for Russell Wilson. That's the first time that you've ever had a coach admit or say something to that effect, that the reason I am still here is because of player X.
No, he's not.
It's pretty amazing.
He's not, if he's saying it, then he believes that.
Look, first of all, Pete's done a great job with Seattle Seahawks.
Right.
He turned them into a team that was considered kind of like a small market team that didn't get a whole lot of attention because that's what Seattle was for a long period of time. But then
they got the quarterback.
They got the quarterback, and then he helped turn them into a perennial winner. I don't want to say, and then they did a pretty good job with Super Bowl too.
Yes, they did. And darn close to another one also.
If you just handed it to beast mode.
Just a yard away. Hey, can't go back and revise history now. But the Jaguars face the Seahawks, 4:05 Eastern Time kickoff this coming Sunday at Lumen Field in Seattle. Logs, have a great week.
Thank you.
We will talk to you later.
Talk to you soon.
Sooner, hopefully, rather than later.
Maybe.
We'll see.
Maybe.
We're all day today, aren't we? That's Joe Fortunato, Brent Reber for Jeff Lageman and head coach Urban Meyer. I'm JP Shadrick. We'll catch you next time on the Urban Meyer Show on the Jaguars Radio Network.